Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, welcome to week 14 of Tabletop Tuesday, Season 2. Season 2. Where Dan is preparing
Wow.
the...
Damn, it's more than 3 months?
Yeah, we've been doing this for a while.
I haven't gotten anything done.
I'm
embarrassed for both of us.
We're going to talk about that in the weekly progress section because it has been a very...
What are you doing?
I'm petting the dog.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Does
it look?
I can't tell. All I can see is your shoulder.
Is the shoulder just
I'm
moving?
like, what is going on?
This is Arlo. And during the pre-show,
Arlo, get in bed.
we were making snappy noises, and he thought that I was trying to get his attention, and so he was like, "I'm here. What do you want?"
Aggravated.
Because he's part hound dog. So, yeah.
All right, let's go.
But anyway, so here we are, week 14. The show has taken on a new dynamic. You are working on the cinematic version of the game, of the characters in the video game Chaos Gate. I created a Gellerpox infected kill team. They will be fighting in a 3-game campaign this March. And if we roll it back, we know that my kill team has been completed under some very aggressive deadlines.
You just got to keep rubbing that in, aren't you?
Very aggressive deadlines. Really set some high... I mean, I haven't had a job for many months, and so I've had a chance to really be able to kick in. And there have been some challenges. So I'll tell you what. Let's just get let's not. Let's begin how we always begin this show. Hey, Dan.
Train is off the tracks.
What? It's week 14. We've never gone this long before. Yeah. What are you drinking?
I'm having a Guinness Draft Stout out of the bottle.
Ooh.
Because it actually says on the bottle, enjoy chilled straight from the bottle. So I know I give you a hard time all the time when you drink from the bottle, but I'm always asking, does the brewer recommend you drink it from the bottle?
Yeah.
And this one actually does. So I'm drinking it from the bottle.
Nice.
Yeah. I visited the Guinness brewery when I was in Dublin on my honeymoon, and I highly recommend that tour if you have the opportunity.
What is special about the tour?
It's a tour of the Guinness brewery. What more do you need? No, at the tour, you get a taste of the many different offerings of Guinness that are not available in the United States.
Oh, no kidding.
For one, you also get free access to I can't remember the name of the special bar that they have at the Guinness brewery, but it's up above everything. And there you get like a couple of tokens, I think, so that you can get whatever you want that they offer. You can just get a pint of whatever, any of the special things that they don't sell in the United States. So it was very cool. And
that's pretty nice.
And it's true what they say. Guinness straight from Dublin is so good. This isn't bad.
Right.
But when you know.
I understand. Yeah. I went to the Kirin Brewery in Tokyo one of the years that I was there, and that is also a fun experience. It shows the mechanics of how the brewery works, and it's a self-guided tour, but it ends in a giant tasting room where you just punch buttons and fill little glasses with Kirin beer. And
do you have a limited number of buttons you can push?
No.
You just go until they throw you out?
Well, they give you a couple, similar to what you were saying, they gave us a couple tickets to get, I think we got 3 tickets each to be able to try stuff, and then you can buy additional tickets.
Oh, okay.
So I think I spent $20 American, which would have gotten me another 18 tasters. And
very inexpensive tasters there.
Well, and it's not much. It's like you're getting 2 to 3 ounces of each beer. But they had so many. So I totally get what you're saying by like,
Yeah.
there are a lot of offerings that just don't make it. Like a lot of these beers don't even make it out of the brewery. Some of them were just like,
Yeah, they're tap room
yeah,
only offerings, which is incredible. And
yeah.
sometimes, if you're lucky, I feel like Golden Road. Oh, maybe they don't. Golden Road in Los Angeles, they've got,
Mm.
and I mean, there's hundreds of breweries in Los Angeles now, or the greater area, as you know. But that's the one I've been to most recently.
Mm.
And that's they've got a very large tap room that has all kinds of stuff that I've never seen in stores. I don't know if it's just I'm not going to the right stores, or if they're
Keeping it to themselves.
limited production type stuff. Yeah, I really enjoy brewery tours. They're a lot of fun. It's cool to see how the stuff gets made. And yeah, I've been to the 4X Brewery in Brisbane, Australia.
Mm.
I've been to, I can't remember all the other ones, but anyway, it's just a lot of fun. If you're a beer drinker and you're not going on brewery tours when you visit places, are you really a beer drinker? What are you doing?
Dan,
What are you doing?
I noticed that
I'm
none of
kidding.
the places that you list are one of the many breweries in a city called Portland, Oregon,
Yeah,
which has a lot,
yeah,
a lot of breweries.
yeah,
You have a
yeah,
friend that lives there.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Haven't been there.
no,
I went through it once.
yeah.
Yeah, not while you were there. No. Anyway, what are you drinking?
I'm
That was an
drinking
awful lot of story about me drinking a Guinness.
Spindrift.
Spindrift sparkling water. Is that
Yes.
an alcoholic sparkling water?
No,
Is that
no,
like a White Claw?
no, no. No, it is. It is a uh,
So you're making me
LaCroix
drink
with more
alone.
flavor.
I got it.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, well,
However, this is raspberry lime, so it has a hint. It feels like you're drinking.
you're drinking a raspberry tonic gin thing.
I could.
I think you're
Renee
tricking
originally
yourself.
used to get these things to use as a mixer for vodka and
Mm-hmm.
gin.
Hmm.
I have both vodka and gin, but your boy is producing a couple things right now, and I have got deadlines this week because we've got to
Mm-hmm.
pitch this Friday,
Ah, okay.
and so I can't let myself get liquored up yet
Mm-hmm.
because I gotta finish producing a pitch deck.
Good,
Yeah, yeah,
good.
it's been busy. We got back from California, and it's been
Hit the ground running.
hit the ground running
Great,
hard.
great.
Speaking of hitting the ground running, what's our weekly progress?
No games for old
Little
Well,
behind the scenes information.
okay, all right.
We're recording this show mere days after the last recording. I anticipate this to be one of the shortest elements, like shortest
Uh-huh.
versions of this segment,
Uh-huh.
probably for the entire season.
Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Because I have nothing additionally done.
Right. My
Yeah.
progress is exactly the same for the same reasons. Construction is going on in my apartment. They actually showed up today
That's
and
good.
did some work. So there's progress finally on that front. They've made progress. That's my weekly progress, is that finally some parts of wall and ceiling have been rebuilt in my apartment.
Yeah.
So yay, but that's it. That's all I've got.
The most progress I made was when we were doing Monday game nights with the rest of the old men,
Yeah.
and I was able to complete all of the metallics
Oh, okay,
on.
good.
So I'm getting there.
On that
I'm
one
getting
guy.
there. No, yeah, on
Everybody?
all the foot soldiers.
You're doing the
Yeah.
batch painting. Yeah,
I'm
good.
batch. I'm batch. I'd be batching. I'd be
course.
batching.
Of course.
But
While the rest of us were playing Tom Clancy's The Division.
which actually that's going to come into our other tabletop things segment later. But uh, yeah, I have tomorrow and Friday are going to be stacked, just stacked. But this weekend, my only responsibility is walking the dog, and and that's it.
That's an important responsibility.
That is an important responsibility.
Especially for the dog.
He's a big fan.
He had better appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, because Arlo is a country dog that lives in a city. So he requires 3 extensive walks per day. We normally do a minimum of a mile, but it's usually 2 miles per walk per day. So we're doing 5 to 6 miles a day in walking time.
That's great. Getting in
And
your
depending,
steps too. That's good
oh
for you
yeah,
too.
I mean it's keeping. It's the only thing that kept me from growing to be over 300 pounds during the pandemic was making sure that Arlo was getting walks.
Yeah.
Well, that and all the exercise I did, but it's funnier to say the dog did it all. But
Print the legend, Curtis.
print the legend, print the legend. But anyway, so that I mean, I'm scared to even make goals. Like,
Oh, I'm not even going to state a goal because I don't know when my apartment's going to be completed.
yeah, I would
Until
really
that's
like to
done,
have
I'm
these
stating
guys done.
0 goals.
That makes sense.
None.
That makes sense.
Can't.
I'd like to have all the foot soldiers complete. I really want to get started on these characters. They're just itching away at me. I see them stare at me every day. This one especially, its faceless, its eyeless face just bores into my soul, and it's just like, paint me, Curtis, paint me, bring me to life. And this one feels very threatening. Just like ooh, ooh. So yeah, I would like to get started on them. So I really gotta hunker down and get those foot soldiers done. So I'm hoping that after the weekend, by next week, I'm gonna be able to say. Also, if I can get them done before Sunday, I will have weather good for varnishing. So if I can get them done by Sunday afternoon, then
You're
I'll have
expecting
them
a
varnished
storm
too.
on Monday or something?
No, it's just been really cold.
Okay.
And I don't like to varnish in the cold because it can make it cloud.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I don't want that.
Nope.
Because we
You'll
have
have to varnish inside then.
I'm not varnishing inside. This
Worst
house
case
is
scenario.
too old.
Worst case scenario, you varnish
This house
inside.
does not vent. It's too old.
You varnish, you open up all the windows, you spray varnish, and then you and Renee take Arlo for a walk.
Now, see, it's funny that you say that because our windows are so old, not all of them open. Like, the windows are wood from when the house was created still, and many of them have swollen shut.
I'm hearing a lot of excuses.
I'm just saying, I'm not varnishing inside. I'm going to kill myself.
But that's why you take the dog for a walk right immediately following the varnishing.
But where is the gas going to go? It has nowhere to off gas.
Out the windows.
Their windows can't open.
You said not all, which means some can open. Quit being a negative Nelly.
Or I could just, take them outside and varnish them when I can, because the weather permits, and not have to do any of that.
I agree, but you're sounding like you're not going to get these done by Sunday.
Oh, I mean, that is not the implication there. I'm just hoping to be able to varnish them once they're done. That's my big plan.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm setting the clock.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Yeah. So that's our weekly progress.
Oh boy.
I mean,
It's not empty.
it's not.
That's why it didn't toot. I tried to toot my bottle, but it didn't work.
It should still toot. There it is.
There we go.
Yeah. It just gets lower in pitch the emptier it is.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And on that note, how about some other tabletop things?
No games for old men.
So, Dan,
Yeah.
in every game, there are classes that are laid out so that people understand the function of their character within a group context.
Right.
For D&D, we have things like fighters, clerics, wizards, rogues. For things like cyberpunk. We have solos, which are mercenaries. We have deck runners, which are computer hackers. You've got
Corporates.
corporates who are, suits walking around doing bad things to the world. But everybody has like a favorite class that they tend to focus on, regardless of what game they play. And so today, we're talking about class in gaming.
Keeping it classy.
Keeping it classy.
All right.
Keeping it classy.
Okay.
So, would you like to start? Would you like me to start? What would you have thoughts on classes, especially for like role-playing games?
I do have a favorite, and it seems to spread across role-playing and video games when I have the opportunity.
Nice.
Now, a lot of games don't have the opportunity. Vampire can't play this class. Can't.
Okay.
I'm doing my best.
Okay.
Can't do it.
Okay.
Actually, I kind of am doing it. Oh my gosh, I've done it accidentally. And
it's so ingrained in you.
And that is the class of ranger or archer, bow and arrow guy. I enjoy playing rangers in Dungeons and Dragons. I like the idea of bow and arrow, pew, pew. I like the fantasy of that, like, and really Legolas really embodied that. When those films came out, I was like, that's why I like being the archer guy. That's why. Because that's how I picture my character. My character's never done anything that cool ever. But that's how I picture my archer bouncing around the battlefield, just, 2 arrows at the same time. Pew, pew. And so in Vampire, I use Blood Spear all the time. I feel like Blood Spear is, it's a ranged thing, ranged attack.
Yeah.
And depending on how you use it, you can have it go in a straight line and go through multiple targets, or you can have it have more like a fan effect, and you can get multiple targets that are within a cone in front of you, which is like taking 2 or 3 arrows and pew. How funny. I didn't even I was making a joke about Vampire like not being able to, but I'm totally doing it in
You are totally doing it. Yeah.
In Vampire. In video games, well, Vampire is a video game, so I kind of accidentally transitioned to that already. But like Age of Conan, Skyrim, Dragon Age, all of those fantasy-themed video games, I always go with an archer character, even if I have the intent to do something else. Like, I'm gonna be a sword and board this time. I always end up picking up a bow. Always. I don't know.
Ranged combat in future games too.
I just like doing the sniping type thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
I like the thought of being a support class bouncing around the battlefield while the tank is in there in the thick of it and, taking out gobbies that are sneaking up on the tank and being helpful that way. I just like the fantasy of that. Telling that story in my head.
Yeah, I could see that because you're really careful when you play games. You're very cautious.
Mm-hmm.
You rarely get yourself in over your head on your own. It's usually somebody else who gets you in over your head. Dean. But
yeah.
but if left to your own devices, you tend to be pretty cautious. But the last couple games, you've also played monks. You haven't played rangers.
Yeah, because in fact, in D&D, in 3rd edition on, I've only ever played one ranger.
Yeah.
I would prefer to play Rangers, but the DM has always said a Ranger would not, like, there either aren't Rangers or you're not in a place where there would be Rangers. You know, this is an urban environment. Rangers, you know, tend to prefer outdoor, rural environments because they not like druids in communing with nature, but they do have a connection to nature. Being out in the forests and the mountains is their preferred environment. And that's another thing that I like about them is that I enjoy, you know, I enjoy being, I don't do it as often as I would like to, but I enjoy being outside and hiking and things. And I feel like a ranger is that.
Do you feel like a lot of yourself comes through in the characters that you play?
Too much so.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Every time I attempt to role play, I'm going to be this guy instead. I always end up doing what I would actually do, which is a real problem for me because then I get disappointed in the character and I want to kill them off so I can start over with somebody else and do a better job. Yeah, I have a hard time role playing. I always my personal ideologies always sneak in. Which is why you're not enjoying Vampire? Because
I was gonna ask, is that why you won't eat anybody?
Yes.
Man.
I'm trying to do the good thing. I'm trying to save as many people as I can.
Such a goody two shoes.
Well, you haven't seen the end.
I haven't. But seriously, if you're not watching Vampire right now, just at least watch the last 2 weeks worth of shows. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. So you've actually got like a pretty solid, like, you're dedicated. You've got an idealized class that you like to play, and it follows you through everything.
And I wonder, I've never really explored this before. I wonder how much of that is really derived just from my personality. Is I am a non-confrontational person, and I feel like a ranger is that, but you know, they're not a frontline fighter. They don't go seeking trouble.
Right. But they'll end a fight.
A ranger will do what they can to resolve a situation if it comes up.
Right.
And I'd like to think that's me.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
And because I'm not a physically strong person, and I'm only 5'7", so I'm short, on the shorter side of the population in terms of male height. Awful lot of people on TikTok would reject me outright. Well, if I were on any dating app. I would get swiped left so many times just by my height alone.
I don't know what part of TikTok you're on, but man, that sucks.
No. I'm just anyhow.
Yeah.
It's just a meme that's, you know.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. Yes.
It is common knowledge. So anyhow, and so maybe that's it too, is that because of my you know, average height and not very muscular build, maybe that's why I also tend to feel like a support class is more to my speed and style.
I can dig
Never really put that much thought into it before, though, but it's kind of interesting to think about.
Well, that's what this show is here for. Because I do think it's worth thinking about with these kind of things. Because, you know, you've got min-max players who will just be like, I know that if I take a fighter and I get to this level, and then I take a level in Warlock, and then I get this, and then and then.
Yeah.
And
we don't know anybody like that.
Actually, I don't know if we do any or not. I try not to play with min-maxers, actually, because I don't have as much fun. I've always liked that we've kind of been single-class players kind of our whole career. And it was a little awkward when I started playing with folks that would multi-class.
Mm.
But so far, I haven't really played with anyone who's been like a hardcore min-max mixer. Everybody's been pretty on the level with it, but
Well, if you play D&D 5th edition, everyone's multi-class because everybody has magic. So you're,
yeah,
I was a monk, but a magic monk.
magic monk.
Jeff was a bard, but a magic bard.
Magic bard. Magic bard.
Everybody's got magic.
Everybody's got
in
it.
5th edition.
Not fighters, though. Not fighters.
Yeah.
They have magic-like abilities.
Well, yeah. Potato, potato.
I mean,
You split that hair right down the middle.
with an arrow.
Pew. Pew. What about you? I think I know what you're going to say.
Do you now?
I think I do.
Okay, let's play prediction here. What do you think is my favorite class?
I think we should say it at the same time.
Okay. I'm gonna count to 3 and then we'll say it.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3, say it. Ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Cleric. Yeah!
Yep.
That's it. That's it. Yeah.
Yep.
Now I
You
have
were a
played
cleric in the
bards.
very first game we ever played together.
Yes.
You were a cleric.
Yeah. I
And
was
that-
a fighter once.
Was I a ranger? Was that the game? Was that the one time I was ever a ranger?
Maybe.
I don't remember. I don't even remember.
I don't either.
It's not important. We're talking about your clerics now.
I was a fighter the first time I ever played D&D in like a sample game with Jeff in his bedroom, just to kind of get the handle on the rules.
Yeah.
But as soon as I found out that I could worship gods and get powers from them, I was like, oh, sign me up. And I was really into the Egyptian pantheon then.
You were. I remember
And that
your Ankh,
first game.
your
Oh,
Ankh
yeah.
necklace.
I
And...
think I still have that somewhere.
Do you really? Wow.
But that first game, I was allowed to pick my pantheon because Scott didn't care.
Mm.
So I picked the Egyptian pantheon because second Advanced Dungeons and Dragons 2nd edition had a book of gods, and it was just all the recognized pantheons. And so I was like, well, we'll just take that there. We'll take that. And powers were used differently then. You got your powers from your wisdom, not from your charisma. So I was an ugly cleric of one of the Egyptian gods. And I don't even remember which god it was now. But yeah, and then that started a thing. For whatever reason, I do not appreciate or really validate religious zealots in the real world.
For whatever reason.
For whatever reason. But in fantasy games, I definitely am attracted to the priest, the cleric, the war priest, witch hunters. Maybe it plays on my inner not parody, but farce ideals where I've just take it to the nth degree. But yeah, no, I definitely I've played a couple bards in D&D. I also like bards. The internal performer likes to come through.
Yep.
But I think some of my best, most memorable moments have
Yes.
been me playing clerics.
They absolutely have.
We have a running gag where we needed money because back in 2nd edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, gold just didn't fall off trees, and Scott was a miserly DM. You were more likely, in fact, it was common to find barrels of pickled fish
Yes.
everywhere you went, whether it was
Yes.
above ground or in a dungeon.
Uh-huh.
But heaven forbid you find more than 3 copper pieces anywhere.
Yeah.
So I remember trying to raise money by going door to door and offering blessings to houses for 2 silvers. And it happened that at one of them where I blessed the house, somehow the house caught on fire. And they called and said, my house is on fire. And I turned around and went, not my fault, sinner.
We still quote that today.
It's 20 something years later, and we still quote that one.
Not my fault, sinner.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, good times, good times, and that does follow. Like even in Mordheim, I'm a witch hunter player. I love the witch hunters. I could do more with mercenaries. I could do more with Ratbin, but I really, really, I continue to grow that war. I haven't played that game in maybe 10 years. Oh, longer than that.
Longer
Crap
than
in a
that.
hat. But I still add things. I've got updated war priests to go along with that. I've got new. I've got almost an entire new team of witch hunters, like actual witch hunters, and I've got a limited number of the people that actually make up a majority of the team, which are like the zealots and flagellants and things like that. But yeah, just always really been drawn to that. And I guess that I think that carried over into
That's kind of funny that
video
religious
games.
extremism is
Yeah.
your go-to in games.
Well, I think it's one of those things that really needs to have a mirror pointed at it and a magnifying glass pointed to it, and the absurdity of it really needs to be like, this is where we lose followers. In a fantasy world, I
don't
really
think
want
so.
to play into the fact that it's all make believe. So let's really make believe.
Yeah.
Let's really make believe. If I'm going to believe in a god, then he better give me powers, is all I'm saying. I better be able to do the Lord's work, and then in addition to that, be able to thunderstrike. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, because
All I'm saying.
it does not your worship keep them alive?
Darn right.
Without followers, they are a god of nothing and therefore
Exactly.
obsolete. So they better
Exactly.
grant their followers special powers.
Yep. And not special
Absolutely.
powers to create fascism, but other actual magical powers. So yeah. And then
Nice.
following that with the clericalness, that kind of follows into what I like as a video game thing too, because I like being a healer in video games, which usually transforms into being a medic or something like that. It kind of crosses platforms. And even in war games, I like to make sure that there's a medic in like my kill teams or in my armies, if they're possible. I've got apothecaries. I've got for my like Space Marine army, and I've got medics for my not only I've got a variety of medics. I've got them for my Imperial Guard. I've got them for all my kill teams. I like to make sure there's somebody who can help.
Right.
So yeah.
Whether it is divine or
medical,
physical,
secular, whether divine or secular, we like to have some kind of healing power somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we turn it over to you, folks. What is your favorite class? And I think the Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder classes are kind of the most universal and ubiquitous to be able to discuss. But I'm not going to shut it down. Like, what is it? Are you a? I'm just trying to find something really. Yeah, or like a warp fiend or a howling dingo butt. I don't know.
And why? Why is that the best class? Why do I want to be a howling dingo butt in my next game?
Some people just really, really like dishing out a lot of damage. I know that so many war game players are just like, how much damage can I output in a turn? But I really like having reason behind the things that I do. I don't want it. If I wanted it to just be effective,
Right.
Yeah, there's so many games that I could play. There's a stupid phone game that I downloaded because I had a lot of time to sit down. I was like, I just need something to occupy my time that isn't Instagram or TikTok.
Uh-huh.
And it's just a little cannon that you move back and forth and you just shoot little people out to attack a base.
Wait, you shoot
It's little people. Little people come out of a cannon.
ballistic people?
Ballistic people. And they beat up buildings. That's all it does. That's all it does. And you just try to beat up the building as fast as you can.
Okay.
If I just want firepower to do as much damage as possible. That's how simple that game can be. It doesn't have to do very much. If I'm
Okay.
going to take the time to paint it up, if I'm going to take the time to write down stats, if I'm going to take the time to roll dice for it, I want to know that there's a bigger reason for it. Maybe that's just my inner actor that's just like, what's my motivation?
That
You know?
that goes to your policy of play the narrative.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I don't do tournaments.
Right.
That's why I don't
'cause,
do
I
tournaments
mean,
at
that's
all.
just a bunch of min-maxers that
Yeah. Yeah, they just show up and they're just like,
Yeah.
here's my
That just
Silent
doesn't sound
King
fun to me.
and my Nanzarak and these blood angels that have
My-
teamed up with them.
Golden Dinglebutt.
Yep.
Or
Howling
Howling.
Dingobutt. Howling Dingobutt.
Okay.
We're gonna make a t-shirt for that.
Oh, you don't have the golden one?
Class. Howling Dingobutt. And on the back,
That's why you don't win.
premium golden Dingobutt.
Golden. The Howling one upgrades when it gains
Right.
enough experience points to the golden Howling Dinglebutt.
So in Warhammer Underworlds, every character has its normal version and then its inspired version, which is better
Yes.
stats.
Yes.
For the Dingobutt, there is Howling, and then its inspired version is the golden.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or is that an evolution of its Pokemon? Is that the
Same. I mean, it could cross game worlds.
yeah.
It's the
love
multiverse.
And if you want this merch, make sure that we get to 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible, because that's when all this stuff happens.
And now that OGL 1.0 is staying intact, you can actually create a character class.
Yes,
and sell it on the
and put
D&D
it out
Beyond.
through
or the
through
DM's Guild or whatever that's called.
Hell, we'll offer it on the Patreon. We'll have a special tier. Howling Dingobutt as a Patreon tier. And with that, you can get usable class for both Pathfinder 2nd Edition and D&D 5e.
Wow.
There you go. There you go. Are you excited about these things yet? Get us to 1,000. So yeah. And please tell us about your favorite classes in the comments down below. We look forward to that. Anything else to say on other tabletop things?
Not I.
Neither myself.
Archers, baby.
Dare we move right into what we're hyped about?
No games for old men.
So it's only been a couple days since our last show.
Mm-hmm.
And
Did you confound yourself? You finally
did.
don't have anything new to be hyped about?
I kept running into things that I'm still hyped about. I mean, as we're recording this, the third episode of The Last of Us is an internet meme in and of itself now because of that episode.
Outstanding episode.
That's a really good short film that doesn't have to be included in the series
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to submit that show for an Emmy, that's your episode.
I was just going to say that's the type of episode that gets submitted for Emmy nominations.
Yeah, it was really, really solid.
I loved the fact that it was connected to the world,
Mm-hmm.
but it really was its own story.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a great story.
It really was.
And
It really was.
I think both of those guys did a great job. You rooted for them. I loved the arc of their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing of Nick Offerman, Bill at the beginning. You're gonna tell every bum out there that you can get a free lunch here, and this is not an Arby's. Arby's didn't give free lunch; it was a restaurant. And the look on Bill's face, he was like, "Yeah, that was a bad analogy."
And Nick
Oh,
Offerman,
man.
good grief, he was really good on Parks and Recreation, but damn if he isn't. This episode just shows me how often actors can be really, really, really good and extraordinarily underutilized by the industry. Just extremely underutilized. Man, he is a very, very talented gentleman.
He really
And
is.
yeah.
I recently saw Alex Garland's series Devs.
Oh,
I believe it's on Hulu. Nick Offerman is in that as well, and in a major role, and he's really good.
you guys were just talking about that on the Hero's Journey podcast for Ex Machina too, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
Also
Yeah.
written and directed by Alex Garland. That was the connection there. So, yes, it was. Well, anyway, yes, Nick Offerman is very good. I've never
very
seen Parks and Rec, so I did not know of him. I knew he was on it, but I don't know his comedic work other than the Between Two Trees talk show that he did.
Between Two Ferns?
Between Two Ferns.
But that was Zach Galifianakis.
That wasn't
That
Nick
wasn't Nick
Offerman?
Offerman.
Guy with a beard.
I recommend Parks and Rec highly,
Got that
but
confused.
you can skip all of season 1
Why?
because it's a different show.
Oh.
The show just takes such a dramatic left turn at the start of season 2 because season 1 wasn't working that the show doesn't acknowledge season 1.
Mm.
So you can completely ignore season 1. It's a completely different show. Season 2 is a great place to start.
Odd.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you won't miss anything. You will get it. You will
Okay.
get it. Yeah.
All right.
I watched from season 2 on and never had a problem. Then I went back to watch season 1 of Parks and Rec and was like, oh God, what have I done? I need to watch all the way through again to erase the memory of season 1.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm probably not going to do that.
Well,
I just don't have the time to go back and watch.
this is
however
one of
many
those
seasons
things
of that show. So
you don't have to do it today. I'm not saying it doesn't have to be a priority, but there might be a day in the future, assuming that all the streamers don't decide we don't want to pay residuals anymore and start taking everything down.
yeah,
That you could just watch it at your convenience. It's just one of those shows that's nice to have on in the background when you're doing laundry and stuff.
dude.
Do you not do laundry?
The OC is on Hulu. I'm not watching the Parks and Rec. I'm sorry.
I had no idea that
Sorry.
you were such a fan of the OC.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, I did not know
Oh, I
that.
was a huge fan. I was obsessed with that show.
Really?
Yes, my wife and our friend John teased me mercilessly about it. In fact, I got an OC t-shirt for Christmas from Michelle.
No.
Yes.
Dan, I've known you for 30-something years.
Apparently not.
How did I not know? Wow.
Yeah, huge fan. So then when I discovered that it was on Hulu, I started a rewatch. Now I don't
And-
watch it every week like I would have when it would aired on
No,
TV.
you watch it every day. And
But
you
I'm gonna
stream like
you
3
know,
or 4
I'm
episodes
still-
a day.
I'm still poking through it. I'm only
Nice.
like a quarter of the way through season 1 right now, and it's
I heard the Christmas episodes are really good. That's not a joke. Like, the Christmas episodes tend to be really solid and thematic.
all of the episodes are really good, Curtis. It's the OC. Get on board, man.
Maybe
Get on,
joke.
just get on board.
Were they
You don't
able
know.
to
You
keep a
don't know
lot
what
of
you're
their?
missing out. You don't know what you're
Were
missing.
they able to keep a lot of their music licensing? I know when Sabrina came out on DVD,
Oh, you're right.
they did have to change a bunch of the music.
So far, I don't know. It's been however many years, so I don't even know. I don't remember which songs were on. Although I do
Well-
have a bunch of the CDs.
I was going to say,
I have
and you'll be
some
able to
scores,
tell
but-
because when they have to cut a licensed song they don't have the licensing for anymore,
Yeah.
you will get generic sound. They don't replace it with another licensed song. They replace it with yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Okay. Well, that's very exciting.
I don't
Is that
know.
what you're hyped about this week?
No, I was hyped about The Last of Us episode 3.
Well, and that's not even the only thing that I'm hyped about. I mean, things just keep coming out about the Adeptus Arbites
Oh,
and Soul
okay.
Shackle. Oh,
What else? What else is there? Hey, there's somebody on the internet said that Soul Shackle is the worst GW offering ever.
And you're talking about Discourse Miniatures, right?
Clickbait title. Give me a break.
Well, I understand what she's talking about because she's right. When they
Okay,
set
why?
this
Why is
up,
it so bad?
they set up the promise that with Kill Team they would explore the universe of 40K, and the different settings would be different parts of the 40K universe. And what we got with season 1 of 21 was a lot of sandy, and this is not just something that she's mentioned, but that other folks have mentioned. All the
Mhm.
game boards were brown sand.
Okay.
All of them. All of them were brown sand. And all of the first season scenery, except for the Octarius box, was repackaged from previous sets, which is why I didn't bother getting the boxes, because I already have all that scenery
Mm.
in other places. I just needed the books, and I didn't want any of the kill teams. Um, when they first talked about Gallodark, they were like, it's in a Space Hulk, and a Space Hulk is made up of thousands of ships of different species and different varieties. And so we were all kind of led down the garden path to believe that each set of Into the Dark would have different styles of ship interior.
Mm-hmm.
So when we got the first one, it was like, oh, this is all new. This is really great. It's all working together. That's awesome. And then the next box came out, and it was, oh, it's more Imperial hallways with a couple extra gadgets and gizmos. Okay. And then they came out with the boarding actions box, which was basically the scenery from box 1 and box 2. And it was like, oh, that makes sense. They're repackaging it. So the next box should have maybe like Necron or Eldar or something cool. And the next one came out, and it was more Imperial scenery with a couple extra doodads. And admittedly, the hollow table that they use, I'll show that here, is cool. The hollow table looks really cool. I'm excited about that. It looks like you could have your figures playing a game of Into the Dark on the little hollow table.
Mm-hmm.
But I would be lying if I didn't say I was also a little disappointed that there wasn't like a a a like Eldar
Okay.
bone thing
Sure.
as
Sure.
part
But
of that.
worst, capital letters, worst ever?
Well, no, I don't think it's the worst ever. I think the worst ever is when they released that Necron uh, last minute box from Kill Team 18 like 2 weeks before they released Kill Team 21. They were like,
Oh.
buy this box for $200. The only thing that it really had in it was the heavy intercessors that hadn't been released yet, and the new flayed ones that hadn't been released yet. It really felt like a box that they were just like, buy a whole bunch of box for 5 figures.
Yeah.
Do that. Do
Yeah.
that. And, I mean,
And they didn't release them separately.
they did eventually,
Eventually.
like
Okay.
6 months later. It
Well,
took forever.
That's not that long. 6 months? That's not that long.
Dude, the only reason it was that short was because those heavy intercessors, like, people were pissed they couldn't get their hands on them.
Hmm.
But, every once in a while, I forget that Games Workshop is still Games Workshop. Because, admittedly, under Kevin Roundtree's leadership, the company has made a major right turn away from its depths of like 2006 to 2008, when things were really in the shitter, and it really felt like the management of the company had nothing but derision for the player base, where they just be like, you're an idiot, you play with plastic figurines, buy more. And then
Wow.
they turned off like their Facebook page. They didn't respond to emails. They were like, just sell it, just make them buy the plastic. And then the new regime came in, and we got 8th edition. It felt like all of a sudden there was community space and Warhammer community, and people were talking. They got the Twitch channels, and they really started reaching out. But you want to believe that big companies like Games Workshop, and even bigger companies like Disney or something like that they really have, like, eventually they'll see the light and want to have their best interest, want to have the consumer's best interest at heart. But that is never true. That is never true.
Right.
And I think that is a very, very valuable lesson. I like to use the metaphor of a exotic dancer. When you go to an exotic dancer, you are paying for the privilege of feeling special and
Right.
feeling like you're wanted.
Uh-huh.
But make no mistake, it is a
Right.
transactional relationship.
Uh-huh.
And the second that transaction is over, or if you can no longer provide a transaction, you are persona non grata. And that is exactly the same for everybody that sells you anything. It is exactly the same. And so, but, we're emotional animals. So every once in a while I get
Very
caught up in it
cynical.
and I see that, they've got Adeptus Arbites and I'm like, and then, and then I remember it's still going to cost $210 retail.
And you're still going to do it because you're a
Really
sucker.
want those. I am a sucker. I also really want that stupid hollow table. I'd just like it better if there was some Wraithbone in there too.
Yeah.
Especially since it comes with Dark Eldar.
That is unconscionable.
Their ships are made of Dark Wraithbone.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, just regular Wraithbone, but I think it's cooler to say Dark Wraithbone. Because it's like painted iridescent purple and stuff. And they're like, ooh, look, I've got leather on. Yeah. So yeah, they all talk like Mick Jagger too.
Yeah. Or Billy Idol.
Yeah.
That's yeah, that's disappointing. I can see the disappointment there.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe for somebody who is way more into it than I am, they might be way more upset about the reveal.
Well, and I think one of the things that Discourse
So-
really presents well and is a function of, not a function of, a side of the player base that is rarely addressed and not really discussed overall, even though it really should be, is members of the neurodivergent community. And Discourse is one, according to her videos, and talks about how many neurodivergents, especially those with autism, have a compulsion toward the completistism that we talked about last episode.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that she likes to bring up, and I think is, pretty responsible, is the fact that creating this FOMO it's designed for neurotypicals, but it really affects neurodivergence significantly stronger and significantly harder. So that can compel someone to spend money they don't have. I mean, I'm neurotypical, I guess. I don't know. I've never been diagnosed with anything, but I could find myself in very irresponsible places where I'll be like, well,
Sure.
how bad could it be?
Right.
I've got credit.
Yeah, same.
But I cannot imagine what it would be like if I were more, if I did not have the control that I currently have,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw that this season methodology was happening. Oh, I mean, I can imagine it now, just being like, yep, new box,
Yeah.
just coming and getting it.
Yeah, being almost literally incapable of stopping yourself.
Yeah. And that is not to say that neurodivergent people don't have these capabilities, but when your disability is played upon, you are going to be at a disadvantage.
It's this. Oh, I'm about to get myself in trouble. It's perhaps similar to the way addiction is preyed upon.
Absolutely, I would agree with
So,
that statement.
I mean, it's the
I
same.
think it's the same. I mean, it's the same way they get us on TikTok to just keep scrolling. It's the one-arm bandit technique, which has been working for social media for decades now. You pull and you get just close enough to keep you wanting to go.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so so that's what I'm hyped about. And hyped about things that are probably troublemaking. That's the thing. There you go. There you go. Yeah. This episode got real fast. All right. Yeah. If you would like to see more from Discourse, I'm going to toss a card up here so you can go check out her thing. But in the meantime, I'm going to end this segment.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Dan, there's a reason we usually put a week between these episodes.
I don't know. I think that was a good discussion.
I think it was a good discussion, too. I don't know if it necessarily played into the format that we've been following for the last 13 episodes, though.
That maybe would have fit better in other tabletop things.
Probably. Probably. I'm glad it ended up where it ended up. We'll make this happen. What it is. There it is. If you do like what you're seeing, don't forget to like and subscribe. We are still shooting for that 1,000 subscriber goal. When we hit it, Patreon, merch, probably make a website. I don't know. We've got the...
Just the dismissiveness of that. I don't know.
got the URL. It just paid for it for another year. Yeah. And
all right.
follow us on the Instagrams, follow us on the Tickety Talks, and join us every Monday for Mech Warrior Monday.
Yeah.
We live chat when the show is released, meet some great people, talk about laser weapons and autocannons. Tabletop Tuesday every Tuesday, whether we like it or not. And vampires coming to an end.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
very exciting right now.
It's only 2 more weeks of Vampire.
Is it still?
Mm-hmm.
So when this episode goes live, there will still be 2 weeks left?
No.
No, when this episode goes live, there's like 2 episodes left.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is correct.
Get on it, people.
You missed out. You missed it.
Well, the nice thing about YouTube is they can literally go back to the playlist.
Yep.
Start from the beginning.
That's true.
Go all the way through.
Yep. Put a card up in the. Put a card right there.
Got a card. Yeah. You know what the funny thing
Link
is?
to episode 1 of the playlist.
We're both pointing to the corners. I'm not sure. You're gonna be where you are normally. I'm gonna be there, so it should be there. It should be there. That's where it should be. We'll see. There are cards.
Don't know.
Click on them.
Don't know.
Making magic. Yeah. Dan, thank you so much for joining me again
Of course.
for Tabletop Tuesday. And hopefully next week you're going to see a whole bunch of done commission work. Peace out, party people.
Looking forward to it.
No games.